Good afternoon. Welcome all of you who joined us in Media Center and at Ukrinform. Our next speaker is Oleksandr Kubrakov, Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, and we're going to be discussing the bill on the return of excise duty rates on fuel. Alexander, what would it entail? Hello, colleagues, friends. Last week, the Ministry of Infrastructure suggested to partially bring back the excise duty rates on fuel, and the cabmen have supported our proposal to reintroduce the rates that were present before the full all-in invasion. Let me remind you that in March, the Parliament of Ukraine has lifted VAT and reduced the rate for excise duty rates on fuel. Why? Because we were facing substantial crisis on fuel and we had to try anything we could to stabilize the situation, which we did. So currently the fuel is available at all of the gas stations all across the country, large networks, small networks of gas stations, doesn't matter. And even though the exchange rate has changed, but still at some of the gas stations the price keeps going down. Why? Because the price of gas and oil products at the global markets keeps going down. So what's happening? We suggested to introduce the excise rate at the level of 100 euros. Before the war, it was 140 euros, so it was more. So that's why we suggest that it's going to be a partial reintroduction of the excise duty rates, but still not at the level as they used to be. The EU have the relevant directive, which sets the 359 euros excise duty rate, just for you to understand how the market operates. In Germany, the benzene is 640 euros, Romania 333, Slovak Republic 555 euros. So, just for you to know how to compare the Ukrainian 100 euros. We expect that the global prices keep going down. The partial increase of the excise duty rate would remain partial, and there will be no increase of excise duty for diesel, but only partial increase for benzene. And if this trend goes on, then hopefully Parliament will support our bill soon enough. We are grateful to our partners for the support, financial support of our country. Thanks to this support, we are able to keep paying our social payments. But again, relaunching our infrastructure, that's basically the task for us. And this partial reintroduction of excise duty will allow us to continue with our changes until the end of the year. Also, there is quite a big trouble in terms of liquidity, so in our budget. So any excise duties, any taxes that have been lifted at the beginning of the year, they are all important. But it was done to allow our businesses to stay liquid. When would it be reintroduced? It would depend on how fast the Parliament reviews it. If it's done within the next couple of weeks, then it could be launched as of 1st of September or 1st of October. So you said no changes in diesel prices, but what about benzene? I hope that both for diesel or benzene, there would be either no changes in retail prices, and that's what our analytics suggests, that if this trend goes on, that there will be a small increase at the level of margin of error. Colleagues, questions? Alexander, on gas. The first comments we heard about this draft law, they said that there will be return of excise for gas as well. But from what you just said, the discussion still goes on, which is not quite fair. If you compare the diesel price, the increase is 6 to 7%, but when we talk about gas, then it's 16%. No discussions on gas. There are calculations of the Ministry of Economy and Trade, and they believe that the market should be well balanced. So they will be reintroducing changes on gas as well. That's what our draft law provides as well. The renovation of Ukraine plan that Ukrainian government presented in Swiss Regano, it said that we need to return not only the excise duties on fuel, but also in compliance with the EU association agreement to increase those rates to the minimum level in the EU. So does it mean that this is not the last increase of this excise duty? And what are the minimum rates in the EU countries? Well, for benzene, 350 euros per 100 liters. Quite high rates indeed. And all the countries are regulating this independently. But what I would like to reiterate is that the increase of the excise duties up to the minimum European levels would happen not as fast as you formulated it, because everybody recognizes that it's tough both for people and for businesses. That's why it's a partial increase, so that people would not be affected, or at least minimally. Will there be any additional revenues to the budget based on your proposed decision? So what are the expectations? Well, 2 to 3 billion hryvnias a month. So what would be per liter? And will you increase the up to 20% from 7% that we have now? Well, once again, the price at the marketplace drops down, so we hope that that will be a well-balanced drop, and for the end user the price might not change that much, or at least minimally. So these laws, the draft law does not provide for the return back to the pre-war period, because if we increase the VAT up to 20% again, well, that would be quite a substantial impact on the price per liter, 10 to 12 hryvnias at least. Thank you, Oleksandr Kubrakov, Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine. Thank you for joining us and sharing such important notions about this draft law. Friends, stay with us. Our team is getting ready with the agenda for tomorrow, so keep track of what's going on. And